The series starts at the same place. 90% of anime starts. A high school were briefly introduced to our main character's boy genius, Senku Ishigami and thick muscle Chad. Taiju Oki. Taiju goes outside and shoots his shot with local babe user Riha Ugawa and confesses his undying love for her. Then before we can get a reply, bam, big green light encapsulates the earth and turns everybody into a rock. 700 years passed by and Taiju is finally able to break free, using nothing other than his burning desire to plow Yuzoriha, though he might have had a little help from the dripping bat guano in the cave that he ended up in. Taiju sees that his homeboy Senku had already awoken 6 months prior and already made some basic arrangements for food, water, and shelter. The dynamic duo worked to find a cure to release people from their stone form and finally succeed in creating a fluid that does so. Having made enough revival potion for a single person, they decide to de-petrified the most important person they possibly could. Yuzuriha. Is it because she has great knowledge of science or a talent for survival skills? Nope, but she's hot and hormones prevail over logic 9 times out of 10. Before they succeed, they're chased by lions and decide that security is more important than babes at the moment. Live to bang another day, right? So instead, they use the fluid to wake up Tsukasa Shishio, a man with a strength of 100 gorillas and the moral compass of a dictator who went to Burning Man too many times. The dude just crumples the attacking lions and saves the day. But her crew quickly finds out that they've taken down one foe but introduced a far more dangerous one in the meantime. They work together, gathering various supplies, and Tsukasa goes ape and straight up kicks of petrified dude's face off, essentially murdering him. His logic is that the people of the old world corrupted it, so we should only awaken good people. Senku challenges him on that belief and says, no way, Jose. We're saving all the humans. Having realized Tsukasa is batshit insane, Senku begins working against him. He says they need to get more revival fluid and sends Tsukasa off to get some, which Tsukasa happily does since he wants to know the source of where to get it. And while he's out, Shinku reveals to Taiju that he actually has some left, and they quickly go gunpowder land. The rock creates a spark and the entire area explodes, creating the diversion for Tai Chi user Rihan to grab Senku's body and bolt. They figure Senku always has a plan and wouldn't give up that easily. So they inspect his neck and find a little bit of petrification remaining there, which kind of acts as a bulletproof vest, if you will. They pour the remaining revival fluid onto that petrification in hopes that it would repair his neck in the process of depetrifying it. And before we can see the results of course, we're thrown into a sentimental flashback of Senku in his first days of the stone world, as he learned how to survive while hunting, gathering and building shelter while being taunted by monkeys. The revival fluid of course works. Because plot armor the thickest armor one could have. It's explained that as the stone is depetrified, it heals whatever injuries the body might have sustained in that specific area of the body to decide that. Since Tsukasa thinks Senku is dead, the best course of action is to part ways for now. Senku will go and build a new settlement and look for other civilizations that raise the smoke signal, while Yuza, Rihan and Taiji join up with Tsukasa as spies. We pivoted to Tsukasa, who was attacked by a new character, Best Girl Kahaku, who witnessed Tsukasa killing Senku and wants to invoke justice. Tsukasa, being the Cobra Kai Chad that he is, knocks a tree on top of her and the fight is promptly over. Senku sees the battle from afar and comes to Kohoku's aid. Once Tsukasa is gone, releasing her from the tree and befriending the next member of his society. Kahaku decides to take this relationship to the next level real quick and brings Senku home to meet mommy daddy in her home village of some 40 villagers. However, Senku is given the Gandalf treatment, as outsiders are not allowed in the village. We're introduced to the village border patrol Kinran Jinro, as well as resident Stone Age scientist Chrome, who among the rest of the villagers referred to their basic science discoveries as sorcery. Chrome challenges Senku to a battle of the wizards, and Senku proceeds to mop the floor with them, as his science sorcery knowledge is literally a millennium more advanced than anything Chrome has discovered. However, since they're both equally passionate about science, they become best friends forever. We learn that Chrome has taken up scientific research because he wants to bone fellow villager Ruri, who is coincidentally Kahaku's sister, but she's currently sick with an unknown disease and he probably doesn't want to catch it. Senku gives everyone hope as he explains IME viewers alike. Senku pulls in again for real talk and is like, "Hey homie, are you really on my side?" And Jen's like, I don't know. I'm really just looking for myself right now, so I haven't decided yet, we'll see. That night when Jen was out at night by himself, he got shanked by a mystery attacker. The crew tends to his wounds while Suika goes into full melon mode again and snoops around the village to find out what happened. It's revealed that a new character, fellow village or Magma, was the one responsible for the attack, and that his motivation is to win the Grand About Fighting tournament, which would make him the village chief and give him a full access pass to Rory's box, Chrome's worst nightmare. Kahaku isn't keen on the idea either and is determined to beat him at this year's grand bout, like she did in the previous year, and trains Kinoro and Jinro to stand a better chance as well. We see that again survived that attack and has made his way back to Tsukasa and reveals the findings of his investigation. Senku is confirmed dead. We then cut away and see that again promised to give Tsukasa a false report that Senku is nowhere to be found if Senku promises to reinvent his favorite and also my Personal favorite. Drink Coca-Cola, please drink responsibly. Tsuko reveals that she has what they call the blurry sickness, which is really just being nearsighted. Senku, the science chat, immediately flexes his brain muscles and makes glass, which he then turns into glasses that he shoves into Suika's melon and allows her to not be half-blind for the first time in her life. He then gets the idea to make a science lab using glass to make beakers, but it doesn't got the scale to glass blow properly. As knowing how to do something and being able to do it are two very different things. Chrome introduces the village's old dwarven crafter Kasaki, who reluctantly agrees to help him after not being able to bear the sight of their pathetic crafting skills. Fast forward just a bit and Senku has a pretty sweet science lab stocked with all sorts of glass materials, but as the Science King never sleeps, Senku celebrates by creating a new silver spear for Jinro, but Senku quickly reveals that the GIF for Goinero was really just a tool for himself, as they now need to embark on a very dangerous adventure to gather the requisite sulfuric acid back in time before her match starts, which works successfully, and she's disqualified. You know what they say: if you can't show up on time, don't bother. Good news though is she found suicidal, safe and sound. We finally arrive at the most anticipated fight of the tournament. Chrome vs. Magma, Brains vs. Brawn. Einstein vs. Conor McGregor. Chrome starts off getting his ass swept because, let's be honest, he's a bit of a shrimp, but using the power of science he gets the idea to give Magma's name literal meaning and light the sucker on fire using the lens from Suika's broken helmet. The only problem is that takes a long time, so again comes to the rescue and pops up out of nowhere, freaking Magma out because he thought he killed him. So against like, I came back using magic and I cast a spell on you that will kill you if you move a single inch in the next 60 seconds. Magma, of course, is an idiot, so he falls for it, and Chrome has enough time to set him on fire and spar to kick him off the mountain, making him the victor. 3 contestants remain in the tournament, with the next fight being between Senku and Jinro. Gunro gets mad thirsty when thinking about the chance to marry Rory, so he rushes in at full strength. But Senku uses a lucky strike and ball taps him, instantly winning the round. We're brought to the finals of the bout. Senku vs. Chrome. Senku knows Chrome has the hots for Rory, so he's about to forfeit, but Chrome is so worn out from his fight with Magma that he just passes out, resulting in Senku unexpectedly being declared the winner by default, and as the winner, Senku gets a full access pass to marry Rory, but he immediately divorces her as his motivation was purely the alcohol, because he is a man of science and not because he's an alcoholic. They use the alcohol in a bunch of other science that they've gathered up to finally create the sulfa drug, and they give it to Rory, curing her of her illness, which was apparently pneumonia. Senku immediately gains the respect of the villagers, and is declared chief chief of the village and learns that the name of the village is actually Ishigami Village, which just so happens to be Senku's last name. Rory then reveals that she's known Senku ever since she was a wee lass. Another mystery, we dive into some history and learn about Senku's father, Byakuya Ishigami, who was an astronaut that went to the space station with cosmonaut Shamila Volkov, an American pop star sensation, Lillian Weinberg. They're joined in space by Connolly, Yakov Nikitin, and Daria Nikitina. The big apocalypse event that turned everyone to stone happens while they're in space, giving them immunity and rendering them is rankings. The villagers flee the fire and are out in the open, and now everyone's near the pool of toxic sulfuric gas. So Kahaku and Suika get gas masks and lead the villagers to safety, while Hyoga and his men are stuck in a tree to stay above the tux of gas. Senku realizes that their time before getting demolished is running out, but rather than expediting the invention of a Gatling gun, he determines that the true weapon that they need to invent is a mobile phone, because angry birds are more powerful than bullets. Senku and the villagers get to work on making a phone, and step 1 is making wire, and in order to make wire they build a cotton candy machine first to test it out with sugar, because apparently that's how you make wires, cotton candy machines. So they make cotton candy, and Senku leaves them out for Hamura, because it's obvious that she's spying on them, and Senku's a good dude. Chrome then metaphorically whips out his wang in an effort to establish dominance as chief signs wizard, and reveals the big secret project that he's been working on with Kaseki, a god's damn giant water wheel, which simply flabbergasted Senku. The water wheel is a massive win, because it can use the power of the river to automate a lot of the manual work that people had to do earlier. Honestly, it's super impressive to come up with something like that on your own and then actually build it. So then Senku makes light bulbs and throws a bunch of them into a tree so they can all celebrate Christmas. Remember, children, no matter what kind of urgent things you have coming up in your life, like an exam, a major job presentation, or the imminent slaughter of you and all your loved ones, you always have time to celebrate a little bit of Christmas. Everyone gathers on the hill to watch the sunrise of the new year, and Senku realizes that a fancy shining rock that Suika found is in fact tungsten, which is apparently the most heat-resistant metal in the world. I honestly learned so much from the show. Senku needs more of it to make his invention of the vacuum tube work, so he recruits Chrome and Magma to go and search for some with him. They go cavern exploring in search of the tungsten, but quickly fall into a sinkhole and chaos and ensues. It looks like Magma tries to kill Senku with the right jab to the kidneys, but we soon realized that he actually tried to save his life by pushing him out of the way before falling into the hole. Senku and Magma invoke the power of communication and talk through their feelings. And have a little bro